When it comes to watching or getting into a new anime, there are a lot of things to take into consideration. Is the anime worth your time? Is the idea worth exploring? Is the lore or story going to grasp your attention? Does it look visually satisfying? Does it have interesting characters? When you finally find that anime that checked most or all those boxes, you are excited to see the details, the twists, and the moments that make it unforgettable. You can't get enough of it. You anticipate the next episode or season, and when you finally finish it, you are amazed on the journey that it took you through. And some part of you feels a bit bittersweet that it ended. But that is the joy of finding a good anime. You are interested and amazed by the wacky bizarre world of JoJo Bizarre Adventures with its unique fighting style using stands, and every fight feels different with the unique powers of them. You are on the edge of your seat, anticipating the next twist, reveal, and move when it comes to Death Note. You are amazed by unlocking new information in Attack on Titan, and piecing together the story that left you breathless. You are invested with the transformation and power moves of Dragon Ball Z, that you catch yourself doing these very moves yourself and screaming at the top of your lungs. But have you ever felt the same way in regards to a sports anime? A sports anime might be as visually satisfying, or breathtaking like the anime I mentioned before or other animes. But at the end of the day, it still might be hard to be invested in because the whole premise is about a sport. There's no feeling that might be recreated like in JoJo or Attack on Titan. If you are not interested in the sport in real life, then you might not care enough to watch it as an anime. At the end of the day, that creates a barrier for regular and new anime watchers trying to find something new and stimulating to watch. But what if I said there is a sports anime that captures those feelings? It breaks the barrier and leaves you in anticipation, and a thrilling mood like you felt with the other animes. Sure, the anime might not have any super abilities or world-ending threats or grand scheme waiting to unfold, but what it does have is an enriching story. A story that breaks the conventions of its genre. It's an underdog story, and the sport just happens to be the stage where it all unfolds. Every challenge, every victory, every moment of uncertainty all points to something much more. It's about having the will to succeed, the courage to get up, and the pursuit of an attainable goal. It tells a story that's able to resonate with all in some capacity, whether you're a fan of the sport or not. It is able to have attractive visuals and also have a heartfelt and meaningful story tied into it. That anime is Hajime No Ippo. Hajime no Ippo is a sports anime, more specifically a boxing anime that follows the main character's journey as a professional boxer. But even though the story is easy to follow and doesn't have a significant plot to explore, it's able to pull you in with anticipation thanks to its creator, George Morikawa. George Morikawa was able to elaborate the world of boxing thanks to his real-life attachment to the sport. He is the owner of a boxing gym called JP Sports Boxing Gym and sometimes acts as a second or cornerman of several boxers as well. His deep understanding of the sport is presentable in each scene and panel with precise precision. He was able to tell a story that had clear direction. Even though you might know a little bit about boxing or nothing at all about the sport, Morikawa was able to make an anime that connects with anyone that is watching it. And the first way that he accomplished this was by writing the most interesting and complex characters in all of anime. But the first character we have to talk about is our main character, Makinochi Ippo. The show does a great job at making us like, respect, and appreciate Ippo from the very beginning of the narrative. When we first meet Ippo, we see him coming from absolute zero in the world of boxing, to the point he doesn't even know how to throw a punch correctly. The only thing he has going for him is his above average body strength due to helping out with his mom's fishing business. We are rooting for this underdog to learn and improve as a boxer and want to see him succeed due to his good-hearted nature. He is kind, respectful, cheerful, and overall a good person. He shows humility towards an undeserving opponent who had just hit the girl he likes. He's a dependable teammate, stepping in to mimic specific opponents during practice so his gymmates can learn and adapt and prepare. He considered dropping boxing as a whole after his mom got sick and had to continue the family business through her illness. He bows his head and says thank you to the audience for watching him in every match. Though he had every reason not to show that kind of kindness because he didn't have any friends and he was getting verbally and physically bullied very often, Ippo never had a bad bone in his body. He never thought of becoming a boxer to harm other people, and his intentions was never to reflect the pain he dealt with. He became a boxer because he enjoyed it and was amazed by it. He finally gets to have something to enjoy for himself and wants to do it as long as possible. He genuinely is doing this because he loves it. His attitude also rubs off on his opponents as well, pushing them to get better, inspiring them, and also giving them a reason to keep fighting. It shows the audience that when you practice kindness and positivity, it eventually fills up your life and those around you. Then you have other characters like his gym mates I mentioned earlier, like Takamaru, who is the hope and dream of everyone in the Japan region to finally have a Japan fighter as a world champion. He is the mentor to his other gym mates, including Ippo, and though he could be cruel and unbearable at some point, he does respect and value everyone in the gym. He is hard on them because he thinks it's funny, but also to push them to be a better version of themselves. Then you have Oki and Komura that aren't as strong, but are inspired by Takamaru's strength and hope to achieve the same strength as well. They have their own dream and passions outside of the gym, like Oki wanting to use his fight money to open his own ramen shop, and he's a master at bowling. Both Komura and Oki are also good at baseball, which gives them more of a character description than just being the weaker fighters in the gym. You have Miyata, who is proclaimed as a boxing prodigy and tries to show that his father's way of boxing is ideal and useful, after his father quit boxing after an injury that destroyed his confidence in his fighting style. Then you even have characters that seem pure evil but still have their own story to tell, like Ryo, who wants to be rich and wealthy but also take care of his sister. And this is only a few of the many characters that Hajime no Ippo have to offer. This sense of characterizing makes you care and value each character. They aren't just characters there for Ippo's character development. There are fighters that enrich and expand their world. There are times where these fighters get scenes and even episodes dedicated to them, which elaborates more on their story, giving us a closer connection to them rather than just being portrayed as a new opponent, making the viewer feel like we are the spectators in the actual arena, having a deeper knowledge about each fighter, rooting for a specific boxer, cheering when they win, getting upset when they lose, waiting for their next fight, or just waiting for them to come back on screen to see them and see how they're doing because we enjoy seeing them that much. And the development isn't strictly for the fighters, but even lesser important characters grow as well, like Ippo's ex-bully who is now his biggest fan and regrets bullying him, or even Zangief's second who wishes he trained Zangief better and values boxing more. In some degree, it feels like anyone at any point can be the main character and have the spotlight for a while. It just happens to be that we are in Ippo's story and he is the main character, like Sendo, who is a hero and icon in his hometown. His deceased father left a long-lasting impression on him after he heroically saved someone. Sendo wants to honor his father by being just as strong as his father, the best way he can, by testing his strength with strong opponents and becoming a boxing champion. There are times when filler episodes can be a nuisance and boring when watching anime, not important to the main story and just an episode to pad for time and length. However, it never feels like that when watching this anime. At times it feels like a slice of life and an exploration of who these characters are outside of the ring, like the fighters in the Kamigawa gym. The bond between these characters is enjoyable to witness and strengthens the bond between them. Seeing them go on quadruple dates, Oki helping Ippo get with a girl he likes, throwing parties for their victories. Getting to see their friendship grow is something remarkable to witness. The build up to each fight is full, exciting, and the anticipation is high. Seeing them get to train and seeing them move forward with their day feels special because in a way it feels relatable. Now, not in a way of getting ready for a boxing match, but getting to hang out with your friends, preparing for an important task, helping each other out when they feel down. The feeling of a slice of life makes us as the audience care more about their upcoming fights. It's not just fight after fight after fight. There is a break within each bout and we get to understand more of their character and their person. Then when the fighter steps into the ring, the gear shifts and it becomes a whole different story. The fighting is very stunning and mesmerizing to watch. Though it's limited in a boxing setting so they can only use their fists, it doesn't hold back and holds up really well, especially with anime that are known to have breathtaking fight scenes. Each punch, each weave is amazing to witness and every fight is good in its own way. Some are obviously better than others, but there is never a fight that you are dreading. It's nice getting to see their strength and weaknesses, and it's all thanks to Morikawa's love for the sport. Even the simplest punch like a jab are shown with grace. But it's not only the punches themselves, it's the visuals behind the fighting too. The gust of wind behind the blow shows impact and makes you think that that was the final blow. Going in slow motion, getting to hear the fighter's thoughts and plans feels more intellectual and personal than just throwing fists the whole time. The punches cut through the wind, expressing the speed. The punches that connect or are blocked sounds like explosions going on. The movement of their legs when they stop sounds like a screeching stop of a fast vehicle. Also, the over-exaggerated moves they use are visually amazing, like Ippo's signature move, the Dempsey roll. Moving so fast it creates a gust of wind around him and sounds like he is cutting the wind around him as well. Or Sawarma, whose punches mimic a pistol going off with its impact and speed. And these moves are from actual boxers and boxing moves that occur in real life. Sure, the moves are extremely exaggerated and animated for the sake of the show, but like the Dempsey roll is an actual move that occurred, or how Ricardo Martinez, who is a character in the anime, is inspired by an actual boxer, Ricardo Lopez. Even Ippo's fighting stance, the peekaboo stance, is inspired by Mike Tyson's fighting position. Every fighter feels different in their own way, and the show does a great job at displaying this. The anime even has different fighters in different weight classes, which expresses the wide range of fighters in Hajime No Ippo. Or even when we transition from a serious fight to a not so serious fight. Oki is known to be a comedic character, and that translates to his fighting style as well. While we have characters with serious bouts, the show doesn't neglect Oki at all. It shows his bizarre movement or boxing style or special moves like the frog punch where he leaps from the ground to give his opponent an uppercut, or his look away strategy where he literally looks away, confusing his opponent and takes full advantage of it. It was so impressive that even Takamura had to try and mimic it for himself. But that doesn't mean it is a bad fight whatsoever. It's a different style that works with the character and still has an interesting and eye-catching choreography. But what I think the show does a really good job at is its message, because it asks us a very important question. A question that follows every character in some way. A question that Ippo asks in the very beginning of the story. What does it mean to be strong?
Takamura-san, 強いって何なんですか? 強いってどんな気持ちなんですか?
Now in hindsight, it should seem like a pretty obvious answer. There are two fighters and the winner of the fight is declared the strongest person. But that isn't all what that means. It isn't completely about strength, but it is something internal as well. A good example to look at is how Ippo suffers his first loss. Throughout the anime, we see Ippo overcoming the odds, getting stronger win after win, getting closer to one of his goals, the Japan Featherweight Championship. And just when we think he is going to win and keep intact his perfect record, he loses. We see how Ippo falls into a depression after losing his first match. The first time in his life he finally did something that he truly loved, so the fact that he hit a roadblock bothered him. The once cheerful Ippo is now miserable. The show allows us to share in his first loss rather than just brushing over it. We observe the downfall spiral, how defeat creeps into his mind, how it undermines his self-esteem. It is viewed as a turning point rather than just a fleeting moment. We watch him face the difficult issue it brings up, such as his own boundaries, if he belongs in the ring, and what it truly takes to stand up. The focus moves from the technical aspect of training to the development of something more subtle, but perhaps something more significant, the ability to bounce back from setbacks without allowing them to define you. To channel pain into a purpose. Each step forward becomes less about perfecting a punch and more about shaping the will to endure. And through this struggle, Ippo takes a quiet but profound step closer to understanding what true strength is. Not just the ability to win, but the courage to keep moving when you've lost. Then we see Ippo versus the new featherweight champion Sendo. Ippo again asks the coach, what does it mean to be strong? The coach replies by saying when he wins and defeats Sendo, he'll understand. Even after winning and discussing it again with Ippo, Ippo replies by saying he still doesn't really get it. Even after winning the title he set his eyes on and is now on top of his division, he didn't get his answer. I love the fact that there is no definitive answer to this question. Each character's answer to this question is different. Ippo is about growing as a person, because in some ways he does understand but doesn't realize it. The time he stood up to Takamura when he really wanted to become a boxer. The time he kept fighting even though the matchup wasn't in his favor. The time when he inspired other fighters as well. because before boxing, Ippo would have never done any of those things. So the fact that he is growing as a person and inspiring others as well makes me think that he is slowly getting his answer. When it comes to other characters, some characters feel that the answer is physical strength, like Sendo, who wants to be the strongest man in Japan and finally earn his place. Though he is the champion, he lost to Ippo in their first match. So until he finally gets his win against Ippo and takes revenge on the first person to ever make him suffer a loss, he can claim himself as the strongest man in Japan. You have characters like Ippo's ex-bully who isn't a fighter but has his own reason to become stronger as well. The answer to his question is more of a belief in yourself and chasing your dreams like his favorite boxing champion Ippo. He saw Ippo's growth from the scared, easy to pick on kid that he used to bully to the kid that easily took his boxing license from him with ease, to the new upcoming boxer that was winning his matches in ways that amazed him. Seeing Ippo struggle then push on through, the inspiration that came from that pushed him to follow his dream of becoming a manga creator. So when it was time to pursue his dream, he had to thank Ippo because it was Ippo that helped him answer the question of being strong, not physically, but internally and mentally, by not second guessing himself and wanting to do something for himself. So having this question out for the character and your interpretation is more meaningful to the lore of the story and the impact of it as well, because there are multiple ways to answer this question. Unfortunately, Hajime no Ippo isn't coming out with new episodes in a new season, but the manga is still going strong with over 1,000 chapters with new foes for Ippo to face to continue this powerful story. And in case you are worried that the manga won't capture that feeling the anime does, you have nothing to worry about. Sure, there isn't movement and the vibrant colors are replaced with black and white, but it's all executed the same. Each punch and movement is still intense and the story is told brilliantly. The manga makes you feel the impact from a still image. As of this video, I'm currently on chapter 750 of the manga and I can't get enough of it. So whether you want to watch or read it, you won't be disappointed and you will witness a really good narrative. I am not saying that Hajime no Ippo is the greatest anime of all time, but what I am saying is that for a sports anime that usually has story constraints, it is really compelling, displaying amazing fight scenes, a heartfelt narrative, likable and interesting side and support characters, and an endearing main character. It's open to all audiences, and even if you don't love the sport, it resonates with you, pushes you to pursue your dreams or to be a better person. This story leaves a long-lasting impression. If you have seen this anime before and thought about rewatching it, haven't seen it before, or even consider reading the manga, I hope I did a good job at clarifying on why you should watch and read Hajime no Ippo. Thank you guys for watching. I wanted to say thank you for all your support. It means truly a lot to me. Let me know if there's anything you guys want me to talk about next. It can range from any comics, games, anime, movies, etc. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you in the next video.